Hello, students. Look how far we've come. Step one, you chose a person. Step two, you researched them with credible sources that we can trust. We then chose the most important information that we read, and we recorded our findings along with the websites on our green table that we have. And now you're going to notice it's time to type your 5 paragraph essay with an intro, a body, and a conclusion. Okay. Don't forget your task here. Your task was we needed to research and report on a person. Your audience was classmates, and you're simply writing to inform others. Okay. All right. So if we go all the way down to our bottom portion, okay, it says step 5, type your 5 paragraph paper. There's a writing organizer here. Okay. We won't necessarily look at that too much right now. Okay, but you can take a look at it if you want. Something that might be of more importance of you today is if you click on this types of intros and conclusions. Okay, because we're going to work on an intro today. And when I say intro, there's going to be 3 things that we want to make sure we get. Okay, so we'll talk about those. When you click in types of intros, all right, these are intro sentences. A lot of 7th graders will mostly start with this first one. Okay, they like to start with questions and real short questions. And so I'm going to challenge you to try to get out of that norm of going with small questions. And I would rather see you branch out and see if you can use some other different intro sentences. So we have questions, we have quotes. So if all of us did our paper on somebody, most likely we can find a quote from that person that might match up with what our paper is about. We have an imagine statement. So your first word of that first sentence starts with imagine. That way you're putting the reader into this place of thinking about whatever you want them to think about. We have an interesting facts. I know there's a lot of interesting facts that were found last week in your research. So maybe you could come out and grab the reader's attention with an interesting fact. You can have more figurative language. So something again that's going to grab the attention of the reader. Or you could do sensory detail. Sensory detail is trying to hit the reader's senses with what you're writing. So you might talk about what you might see, smell, feel, taste, right? If you get any of those senses in there, then the reader is going to be able to connect to what you're writing easier. Okay? So here are some examples of a question. What do you think makes America great? And this was for a paper that we did about America. A quote is Abraham Lincoln said, and then we have the quote. An imagine statement might look something like this. Imagine living in a world where you cannot make simple decisions because you have no choice. Your voice is silenced, your future is lost. Okay, here's another imagine statement. Imagine living without freedoms. Right? I put that on there because it's a really short sentence. If you use the imagine statement, we would want something more in the yellow here, where you fully describe what you want the reader to imagine. Our question here, if you had the chance to choose the best things that America possesses, what would they be? Again, getting the reader thinking about things. And we have our imagine statement with sensory detail. Imagine trembling with fear, unable to experience the calmness of freedom. Okay, that feeling of calmness and fear, right? Targeting those senses. So, guys, these are some examples, okay? But what I would like you to do is try to think of what's one route you'd like to go for your intro, and then try to make that happen. Okay? And we know an intro sentence is so important because that's the first sentence the reader's going to read from your writing. Okay? And it's going to suck them in, or it's going to make them just kind of feel like, eh. Okay? So, Let's take a look at this. Okay. All right. So we know an intro paragraph, this first one, is going to need one of those types of intros. Okay. And it's going to be followed up by a claim. A claim is what you want your readers to know specifically about your person here. So if you found out in all of your research that your person is just a great human being that is there to help others, you want to make sure you get that in there. If you found out that your person's, um, maybe more crazier and um, they weren't quite all there, okay, maybe you want to get something in there about that. If you had a person that accomplished a lot and made a lot of achievements, maybe you want to get in there, right? Everybody has a different type of a person, and you want to make sure you get that into that claim. And then we have our topics. Okay, you're just introducing your 3 topics. Those are the ones that we came up with last week. And those are all going to go in this one paragraph here for today. So here's an example. Take a look at how this paragraph's broken down. Kobe Bryant said, "You are responsible for how people remember you or don't. So don't take it lightly. It's the one thing you can control." All right, so you can see I started with a quote from Kobe Bryant. Now I'm going to do my claim. What do I want people to know about Kobe? Kobe was indeed remembered by many others, particularly for his fierceness in games, determination in practice, and gentleness at home. Now I'm going to go with my 3 body topics that are all underlined here so you can see how I weaved them together. Kobe Bryant's life was pretty extraordinary, from growing up in Philadelphia and playing with the Lakers to being a great dad for his 4 daughters and was a talented person after retirement. So I have to get was in there. Okay. So I have 3 sections. Notice I color coded them for you so you could see the difference. Okay. And I'm looking good here. Okay. So for today, what I want you to do is I want you to start with an intro, make a claim about your person, and then introduce those 3 body topics that you had from last week. Okay. Good luck and happy introduction day.